Hello, 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 and welcome to the Owl Show right here on BKS1 Radio. It is your girl, Latoya Chanel, and I am back on another Tuesday and so happy to have an amazing guest that is going to be joining us in the next few minutes. You guys have heard me talking about this healing journey that I'm on, this healing journey that you're on, this healing journey that we are on together. And I mentioned that I had an amazing human being who is going to be joining me tonight. I heard her speak a couple of weeks ago at my job at NJPAC. We had a Gathering of Givers event. And I wasn't supposed to go to the Gathering of Givers event. And so I just so happened to pop up downstairs just to listen to see what was going on. And I was going to run back up to my office, everybody. And lo and behold, I got down there right before my guest was about to speak. The topic of the afternoon was about redemption. And it was for women. And it was more along the lines of exactly what we have been talking about the past couple of weeks, about healing and about strength and about pain. And my guest was the first speaker that I had heard for the morning because, again, like I said, I joined a little bit late. Absolutely amazing. She shared her story. And her story was a personal one that was birthed out of, her circumstances, her situations. And I'm going to let her share a bit of that with you. But right now, everybody, please help me to welcome, because I know you were waiting for her last week and we had some technical difficulties here at the studio. But she is in here with us tonight. So everyone, please help me welcome to the virtual BKS1 Radio Studio, everybody, Miss Angelica Ogando, everybody. Can we bring her in, please? Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Latoya. What a great introduction, first of all. That was so amazing. What you see in me is what is in you. You called me an amazing human being. You are as well. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show and for letting me share some of my story with your listeners. Thank you.
Yes, I mean, when I say amazing, I really truly mean that, and I thank you for saying that. In return, your story honestly was confirmation for me. Hearing you speak that morning, right after doing this show for the first time, I was very transparent with my viewers and my listeners. And I had mentioned I was having a bit of apprehension about coming back to doing the show, just because of a few things that I've been going through in last year. That's, into this year too, from 2022 to 2023. And it had put me in a headspace where I guess I had lost a bit of confidence in what I should be doing. And I had been asking God, you know what, God, if this is what you want me to do, I'm going to just say to you, speak through me, use me as a vessel, do whatever it is that you need me to do. And if, I can reach one person with this platform, then I'm doing my job. And I received that confirmation again when I heard you speak. And so I would love to share your story with our audience, those who are listening on Spotify or TuneIn, or those who are watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Your story is an amazing one for us as women, for everyone. But for us as women, especially all of us that can relate. So first, I want to tell everyone who's watching right now, you are the owner and co-owner of two businesses, one Yoshida Academy and the other Warrior Queen Cosmetics. So you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you are a speaker as well. So if you can just go ahead and give everyone just a bit of your story, how you got started.
Thank you so much. Yes. So my story begins November of 2016. November of 2016, at the age of 35, I decided to start my life all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And people thought I was absolutely crazy. They said, "Oh my God, what do you mean? You're going to start your life all over again? What are you going to do?" What happened was that I was in a place, in a moment where I had completed. I like this word that one woman said when she asked me a question during the event.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship, in a marriage that had completed its season, right?
Mm.
And I was also in the middle of a very big issue, which was I had launched a tech company at the time. And what I ended up realizing was that there were some issues with the company, with the people who had been helping us to launch the company, doing some of the programming. And I literally was in a point in my life where I I just lost it. I didn't know what to do. Imagine a relationship that ends.
I want can
Feeling like
wait, can
a
I pause
failure.
right there? Can I pause you right
Yeah.
there? I just want to stop you right there. You said a relationship that's completed its season.
Yeah.
Last week on the show, we were discussing when to let go.
Mm.
And I asked the question, is your comfort zone really that comfortable?
Ooh, wow.
And so many of us seem to get stuck not only in relationships but in jobs or just in certain thought patterns that we can't let go of, that aren't feeding or fueling us. And for you to eloquently put it, a relationship that completed its season.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely I love that. I love that.
Oh, you know what it is? We will overstay our welcome in places, spaces, relationships, friendships that had an expiration date. But because we are filled with fear and the limiting beliefs about ourselves, we stay past the expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that at the time, because for me, I come from a family where marriage is extremely important. My parents just celebrated 62 years. They're celebrating
God bless
63 this
them. God
May
bless
of
them.
marriage.
Yes. God bless them.
63 years of marriage. I am the youngest of six. I'm a twin. All of my sisters, my twin sister and I, just so all of you know, that I'll give you some context. We were that, oops, we didn't know we could still have kids at our age. So our
Right.
sisters are much, much older than we are.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up with our nieces and nephews. But all of my sisters, including my sister, have been married more than 15, 20, 30 years with their husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so imagine being and coming from a place where marriage is the staple of a household.
Absolutely.
I'm Latina. I'm a Dominican woman. When you see me, I'm a Black woman first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear my accent and it's like, oh my God, where is she from? I'm
Right.
Latina. I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Right.
And that's part of the values of my family. Marriage comes right after God. It's like God is first, marriage is second,
Absolutely.
family. And
Absolutely.
so for me, there was a lot of fear of disappointing my parents, feeling as if I just didn't do a great job in that particular relationship. And also, then when I realized that this company that I had launched basically was bust, oh my goodness, my belief of not being good enough,
Oh,
that I had failed at everything.
yeah.
Oh, it was literally the flame was being fanned.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was happening already, one of the reasons why I had walked away from this relationship that had completed its season, was that I had lost my sense of worth.
Mm.
my sense of value.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who I was
Yeah.
because I became the wife of someone. My identity, who I knew as myself, no longer existed.
Yeah.
My definition of what beautiful was being defined by someone else. Imagine at that point in time, I didn't even use my hair natural like I have it today. This is one of the things that I spoke about at the Gathering of Givers event. Being and showing up exactly as I am
Mm-hmm.
was unacceptable.
Because
And
when
I
beauty is
accepted it.
defined, yeah, because when beauty is defined by someone else, you'll never measure up.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Beauty was always being defined by other people, not just by this relationship.
Right.
But I can recall as far back as growing up with my mother.
Mm.
You know, my mom used to straighten my hair all
Mm-hmm.
the time
Mm-hmm.
because to her, this hair, curly hair, natural hair is pelo malo, what they call pelo malo, which is not good hair.
Mm-hmm.
But who defines what good hair and bad hair is?
Mm-hmm.
Hair is just hair. There are different textures. That's the difference. There's no good hair, there's no bad hair. All hair is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it
Uh,
amazing what you have to relearn as an adult?
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing what you have to relearn as an adult. I come from Southern Black parents, and it wasn't my parents that said these things to me. But it was, family members that said this to me. I was always told that, in the summertime, make sure you don't get too dark. You know,
Mm,
you don't want to get too
yeah.
dark. You don't want to get too, and I would always think, especially coming from a mother that was very fair with red hair and freckles.
Mhm.
And it wasn't her that would say it, but it would be other family members that would. And it gave me a complex growing up. Um, and I never knew why I had this complex, and I started thinking back to where it began. I would hear certain things all my life, but where it began was within my own family.
Of
And I said,
course.
"Oh, okay. Okay. I had to relearn. You have to relearn,
Yeah.
you know?"
But you don't realize that until you've gone through some stuff
Mhm.
where these beliefs that you grew up with, these labels,
Yeah.
because it's a label that gets put on you,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
These labels start to affect your everyday life, your success, your level of success, what you do, how you see yourself, even in your purpose.
Absolutely.
Because now other people have literally dumped their projections on you. Just remember, when somebody says something about you, it's their projection. We are mirrors of people.
Yes, we are.
They become our mirrors, we become their mirrors, and they will project all of their insecurities, all of their limiting beliefs onto us. And what happens is that we become a receptacle
Oh.
and we allow people to dump their trash on us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's the problem.
You're right. Could you just imagine if so many of us just stood in the mirror one day and said, I am no longer a receptacle. I am no longer a receptacle.
That is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Words are so powerful. So I want you to know, I am a certified neurolinguistic programming coach. Now, neurolinguistic programming is the thoughts, neural, the mind. It has to do with the thoughts that you have. Linguistic is the words that you use, and it's all about reprogramming. So I'll tell you, the brain has three main functions. The brain stores, deletes, and distorts memories, right? And things that happen, experiences. Your brain really can't process language. It uses language to codify an experience that you've had. So those negative thoughts that you have, those limiting beliefs that you run, those are all programs that you're running in your mind. And when you say the words, just so you can understand something. When you think something, you say something, there's usually an emotion that's
Attached
connected
to
to
it.
it.
Yeah.
And then you produce a reaction that goes out into the universe. It's an energetic reaction that comes back.
Yeah.
And so, whatever you're thinking, you're saying, you're producing, and you're feeling.
Whatever you're
Our
thinking, you're
job is
saying, you're
to
producing,
stop
you're
it.
feeling. Whatever you're thinking, you're saying, you're producing, you're feeling. Whatever you're thinking, you're saying, you're producing, you're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And our job is to stop it
Yeah.
and reprogram this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because what happens is when we get into these negative mindsets, we stay on the side of being a victim. When you stop the process and you become solutions focused, you go to the side of being victorious, problem solver,
I love that.
things happening, being a change maker, stepping into your purpose.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay. So you had completed
Yeah.
your journey in that particular relationship.
Hmm.
Your business at the time was completely falling through.
Yeah.
And
That
so
business.
and so where did all of this land you?
Oof. When all of this happened, I moved back into my parents' house because I decided I'm going to walk away. People thought I was crazy at the time because I was walking away from a relationship, a marriage where I had literally gone from having nothing to having it all. The big house, the dream home, dream cars, dream life. And people said, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to being an engineer? You haven't done that in years. You've been an entrepreneur for a long time. And I said, I know I wasn't meant to stay in the engineering world. I knew I wasn't going to go back to that. I was a good engineer, but I knew that that wasn't my purpose.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have a support system, whom I'll call my parents,
Mm-hmm.
that lived in Newark, New Jersey. So I went back home
Mm-hmm.
to the place where I grew up, to the thing that was familiar to me,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the only thing that was safe for me in that moment.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't know what my next was, but I was lucky enough to have parents that said, you know what, come here until you figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. But what I realized is that in the middle of it all, I just wasn't moving. Nothing was happening. I was falling deeper into depression because I was severely depressed. I was suffering from anxiety.
Yeah.
I was fearful of taking a step and feeling as if the decision that I make wasn't going to be good enough.
Mm.
I was in a place where I was comparing where I was in my journey where all of my friends were.
Oh, isn't thief the comparison of joy?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you,
You know what I'm saying?
comparison.
Comparison
Yes,
is the thief of joy. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
completely.
Yeah.
Imagine being in a place, what happens when things don't work out, a relationship ends, a business fails, you lose a job, you start to compare yourself because you're looking at social media and you start to see how everybody's life is amazing and they're doing all these great things.
Yeah.
And you're like, but wait a second. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be because I know that this that happened to me didn't happen to me. It happened through me. That
Mm.
was the theme of the talk that I gave the day of gathering of givers.
Yes.
It happened through me. It wasn't supposed to stay in me.
Mm-hmm.
There was something that I needed to do.
Yes.
And so trying to figure out what that something was, I think was the most difficult part for me. Because you know what I struggled with? I struggled with coming to terms that I needed to ask for help.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem for a lot of us. to admit that we need help is a huge issue for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a stigma,
Mm-hmm.
in the Latino community and the Black community when it comes to mental health
It
and
is.
seeking, therapy or even coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled with the decision to ask for help. And I struggled with the decision because I didn't want people to see me less than perfect. There was this perfectionism that I was battling inside of me because, by all accounts, I had been the most successful of my family based on the things I had done, what I had experienced, what I had helped to build.
Yes.
But it was just a facade.
Oh,
It was all fake.
yeah. Yeah.
I used to go to sleep every night and I used to cry myself to sleep
Yeah.
because I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell anyone
Yeah.
because I was afraid of being judged.
What are you crying for? You have this life. You have this. You've done this. You've been here. You own this. What would you cry for? Find something else to be happy about. You're whining. Why would you whine when I have this situation and I have that circumstance? And it's not, those are not just thoughts. Those are comments that you hear. And so
Yeah.
it isolates you and it makes you stay quiet and stay in the pain
Yeah.
of your life at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I was dealing with. And so it took me a while to decide, okay, I need help. And so I made the bold decision of looking for a therapist. And then I found myself a coach, just like me, a neurolinguistic programming coach. And so what the therapist did was the therapist helped me to process the emotion
Yes.
and understand the situation. What my coach helped me to do was find purpose and connect the dots of the themes that I was running in my life when it came to the limiting beliefs that were stopping me from using my story as a foundation to move on to the next level that God had for me.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine, I was in such a bad state that I wasn't even being faithful and on fire for God. Because there's nothing worse than experiencing a storm in your life that knocks you down and then you forgetting that God exists. Well, for me, I know people have.
Yeah, and trying to handle it on your own. Trying to just, I
Yeah,
can figure this out, or I don't need that, or yeah.
yeah. And so the best thing that I did for myself was deciding, because everything is a decision. I want you all to know that you don't need to do anything. Needing doesn't produce results. When you say, I need to do this, I have to do this. Changing it, reframing it to, I choose to, I decided to go get help because I knew that I deserved more for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've decided to, or I decide to do something is
Yeah.
an action. It's an
It is.
action. It's not just a request. It's an action.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's an action, and everything has to do with action.
Yeah.
It's just like, faith without, what is it? Faith without
Faith without
works.
works is dead.
Right. And works is action.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the work is action.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Oh, I love this. Oh, listen, if you're just tuning in, whether it's Spotify or TuneIn or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're listening to or watching us right now, I am here with the absolutely amazing Miss Ogando right now, and we are just discussing the healing journey, and we are discussing her journey to becoming the owner and co-owner of two businesses right now, Yoshida Academy as well as Warrior Queen Cosmetics. And what you have said so far, there's so many just gems and jewels from your story of redemption and pain and recovery. I'm actually going to play this show back myself because I wish I had a pen and paper in front of me just to take notes with a few things that we have discussed so far. But again, your story is inspirational. It's the little bit that I've heard has been inspirational to me. So I know that it will be inspirational to others. So this is completely awesome. Completely
Oh,
awesome.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. So we got to the point in your journey
Mhm.
where can you say that what you produced was birthed out of some sort of pain and recovery? Is it fair to say that?
Oh, completely.
Okay.
It came out of the pain, and it wasn't the pain of the situation itself,
Mm-hmm.
but rather the pain of having to redefine who I was. That's where it came from. See, what I learned in my process of coaching and healing was to find something that we call in academy called the ikigai. And your ikigai, by the way, we help people find this, is your purpose. There's a process to finding your purpose. And what I realized is that my purpose is to help women who are in the middle of transition.
Hmm.
I don't know what transition looks like for you because we all have a story.
Mm-hmm.
But my mission, my purpose is to help you find what your purpose is in the middle of that transition,
Mm-hmm.
to accept your story, redefine your story, and find purpose in your story. And that's what I did for myself. And so I help women find their power, step into their power, and become warrior queens. Because
Ugh.
everything for me is connected to being a warrior queen.
Oh gosh. Oh. So this was the origin of the Yoshida Academy?
So it's the origin of both because it's born out of this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Yoshida Academy was the first before Warrior Queen Cosmetics. I I was invited. I had launched my own company. So just I'll give you a quick summary. I launched my own company after I left my previous relationship. We had a business together. I was with him in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away, started my own business. I was doing coaching. I was doing learning and development training. And I was invited to an event and I was doing very well on my own. I had built a clientele. I was doing very well. I was also doing tons of public speaking. I am in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. And so everything that has to do with women in leadership, women transitioning into entrepreneurship, fighting for justice when it comes to equality and equal pay for women, I was in that whole space.
Mm.
I was invited to a conference. It was a DEI conference in Princeton, New Jersey. It was at Princeton University. And there was this panel. I walked in the middle of this panel, and there was this woman who got up to speak. And she says, I know that I look Asian, and my name is Minue Yoshida, but I want you to know that I am half Mexican, half Japanese. And she went on to say like this whole speech about, how her whole, life, she's always been put in a box and she's always been judged. And she was talking about her experience and it connected with me. It connected with me on a deep level
Yeah.
because I've experienced some of the same things that she's experienced.
Yeah.
Being a woman of color, Latina, in the engineering world, I experienced a lot of racism,
Yeah.
bigotry. And so it started to connect with me. And I remember as the panel progressed, she totally blew these guys out of the water. There were 4 men and 1 woman on this panel. I can't tell you that I remember anything that these men said because she was so powerful, so inspirational that I said, I'm going to connect with this woman.
Yeah.
We began this podcast talking about the power of words. And I'm going to tell you, I said, I'm going to connect with this woman. We didn't connect at that particular event. We didn't connect. She left right away. But you know what? 3 months later, I get invited to my alma mater, NJIT. And guess who I see that passes right in front of me? This woman.
Yeah.
Listen, there is a power in manifesting what you say. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Whether it's good
Or
or whether
bad.
it's bad, you're
Yes.
going to manifest it in your life. I said, this woman is going to be my friend. I'm going to do something with her. She literally passes right in front of me as I'm entering. So I stopped her and I go into this whole spiel about how I heard her speak and she was amazing. And you know what? Funny enough, I was carrying the same notebook in my bag that I had the day of that event. I pull it open and I had a post-it with her initials and I start to read off what she said that impacted me. That began the journey of her and I starting to work together. She just couldn't believe it. She invited me to work on one project with her. It was successful. She invited me to do something else, a second one. That went well. We realized that we had tremendous synergy and we were in the same line of what we were doing and offering people, that we decided we were going to launch Yoshida Academy. And that's exactly what we did.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And what does Yoshida Academy offer?
So we do diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. So companies hire us to come in and diagnose where they are with respect to their DEI strategy. So we do everything from diagnosing where they are, to launching a strategy, creating and launching, to helping them launch employee resource groups, what they call ERGs, and business resource groups. So that's one bucket. The second thing that we do is that we run our own leadership workshops through the academy. One of our popular workshops is the Confident Public Speaker. And what we do literally is that we help people who have been asked to speak, whether it's a presentation you're delivering at work, or maybe you've been asked to speak in a conference, or you've been asked to speak at the wedding of your best friend. And the minute they ask you, your heart starts to beat really fast. You start to sweat. Your heart jumps out of you and it runs away. We're the people that literally run after your heart, pick it up, put it back in, and tell you that you can do this.
Right, right, right.
That's the most popular program that we have. And then the final thing that we do is we do one-on-one coaching with people. So we do both personal and professional coaching. What I tell people is that they're both the same. You can't coach in one area and not affect the other area.
Absolutely.
Because one problem in one area of your life reflects in all of the areas of your life. Yeah. So that's what we do in Academy.
Wow. So how can people find you? Tell them how they can find you, because after listening to your story, after listening to the origins of Yoshida Academy, not just meeting Miss Yoshida, but what led you there, how you got there as well, I'm certain that people will be interested. So please tell everyone how they can find you.
Yes, of course. You can go to our website, www.yoshidaacademy, all one word.com. You can follow us on social media, and you can send us an email at info@yoshidaacademy.com. We respond back right away. If you're interested in any of our programs, you can go on the website, check it out. It's called the Confident Public Speaker Program. That's the one that's launching actually next month on April 13th. Reach out. We'll give you more information. We'll connect with you. Yeah, that's Academy.
I want everybody to know the importance of what it is you all are offering. So I believe it was last year, we had a Standing in Solidarity program where we were speaking to African American women in corporate environments. And I was taking notes because at the time I was a virtual production manager, and I was taking notes because the conversation was extremely interesting, and I'm working behind the scenes. I'm taking notes. I'm trying to gather as much as I can. And one of the things that I had taken from one of the amazing women who spoke was women in business should have three things. And you mentioned two of the three today. She said you should have a therapist that can help you process what you have been through.
Yes.
You should have a coach or a mentor to help you with a plan with what you have and how to move forward. And then if you are in business, you should have a publicist that can document your timeline of success where you have something to look back upon.
Yes.
And
yes.
I remember taking those notes, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, I need a therapist. I need a publicist. I need a mentor. And so I started thinking about all of these people that I needed in my life. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this person and ask them about this, and that person and ask them about that. And it's life-changing. It's life-changing. So what people don't know is what you're offering and what your academy is about. This isn't just something extra. This is something that is necessary, because working on ourselves is necessary. So kudos to you all for starting the academy and for just imparting such empowerment in women to be able to have the courage to work on themselves and have the courage to be better and have the courage to continue to move forward within transition. I absolutely love the idea behind this. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And to be honest, Minue shares similar story to me, just so you know. So we both know what transition is. And we've been able to grow our company because we have a team in the US. We have other coaches that work with us. We have a team in London. We have a team in Puerto Rico, and we have a team in Mexico. So we are expanding, we're growing. And what I can tell you is that the journey, when I look back and I think about everything that I have experienced, has prepared me for this time and this moment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you that this is from this time and this moment is where Warrior Queen Cosmetics begins.
Yes, please tell us about Warrior Queen Cosmetics.
So Warrior Queen Cosmetics came to me at 3 a.m. on a weekday. The good Lord woke me up and gave me this divine idea.
He does that.
Listen, God is funny. He doesn't give me ideas in the middle of the day.
No. He can't ever talk to you at 3 p.m. It has to be 3 a.m.
Yes. And I'm like, God, really? So what I do is I have a notebook next to my bed on top of my nightstand. And so what I do is when I wake up with these brilliant ideas at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I just write them down, because I know if I go back to sleep, I'm not going to remember it the next day. So I have to jot it down.
Yeah.
It's funny because for me, I get divine ideas in my sleep. My business partner, she calls it divine ideas with her divine shampoo. She washes her hair and the divine ideas fall on her. And so in the middle of the night, I have this dream about launching a second company, and it was supposed to be a beauty line for, I say the women of the global majority, for the BIPOC women, right? So everybody who considers themselves in that category. But our makeup is truly for everybody and anyone who loves makeup. This idea was produced in the story with something very particular in mind.
Okay.
The business itself is an educational line.
Hmm.
Remember, I kept dreaming and I kept dreaming, and I didn't quite understand what I was being shown, because the whole idea of Warrior Queen Cosmetics took 3 years to come to fruition.
Okay.
I was being given bits and pieces, and I'm gonna put a pause for the cause here.
Okay.
Bits and pieces that are given to you in an extended period of time doesn't mean that God is not going to bring it forth. It means that it takes that amount of time for him to be able to produce in you the skill sets necessary, the strength necessary to withstand what's coming, because the journey has not been easy. I'm going to tell you this. And so in the process of having these dreams, I had a vision that the line itself was supposed to be a line that was going to honor women in such a way where they were going to feel inspired and motivated to step into their stories. That's the theme in my life, right?
Okay.
It's about your story, because we all have a her story, and your story is meant to impact somebody.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
In the
it
middle
is.
in the middle of dreaming and everything else, I had seen a woman. There was supposed to be a woman that was supposed to help me. I just didn't know who it was. So I kept praying, and God just wasn't showing me. At the time, I thought it was supposed to be a friend of mine who we were in Bible study together. But I realized that that person wasn't it. Because when I had presented the idea to her, although she was excited about it, she told me the most beautiful thing somebody can do. She said, Angie, I know that this is an idea that God gave you and it sounds amazing, but I have to pray to see if this is what he wants for me.
Okay, that's fair.
God ended
That's
up
fair.
confirming to her that she wasn't it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
It
fair.
was very fair. A year and a half later, I'm praying because I keep getting the visions are coming more clear and clear and clear. I asked God, show me who it is.
Yeah.
He literally showed me my twin sister. My twin sister, just so you know, is a makeup aficionado. She's not a makeup beauty artist, but she loves makeup so much. She can literally spend 5 hours beating her face to the God, like she says, and she's going to look flawless and amazing.
Yes.
And I have to say, it was the best decision that I could have made. I called my sister at 10 o'clock at night, I remember. And I told her about this idea. I said, Maria, I have this idea that God gave me 3 years ago. He's been developing this idea. It's ready to be born. And this is going to do this, this, and that, and the third. And she said, oh my God, I'm in. What do we have to do?
Maybe it was the time. You needed that time and she needed that time. Maybe she wasn't in a place when you first had the dream, and at the time that you presented it to her, she was.
You are absolutely correct. You just hit the nail on the head. It's all about timing. And I believe in divine timing.
Yes.
I believe in it. And I know for a fact that that's what it was. When we started working officially on on Warrior Queen Cosmetics, it was right before the pandemic happened. And so things, started to shut down because it was right before, and then the pandemic hit and things started to shut down. And we were like, what are we supposed to do? So we did the best thing that we could. We refined what this company was meant to do. And so this is what we discovered, because we had to figure out, well, what does our niche client need? What are their needs? Because there are a lot of beauty companies out here. What's going to set us apart from everybody else? And so what we discovered was that one of the biggest issues that was happening at the time was a lot of makeup companies were being targeted because their makeup itself was produced with harmful chemicals.
Yes, absolutely.
The makeup that we, the people of the global majority, have access to doesn't look the same on our skin tone as it does on somebody else
No.
with a lighter skin tone.
Right.
So the pigmentation was an issue.
Right.
There was an issue of, I don't want to keep reapplying makeup if I'm in the middle of a meeting. I needed a product that was going to last a long time and I don't have to keep reapplying.
Right.
The next thing that we realized is there's a lot of products out there that are not cruelty free. We love animals.
Right.
I don't want to hurt animals, you know?
Right.
We know the importance of producing materials that doesn't hurt the environment, it doesn't hurt animals, it doesn't hurt people. And for us, that's part of our values as a company.
Oh, I love
And
it.
the final thing that we realized is that there was a lack of inspiration, motivation, and representation when it came to beauty. And I told you, I had to redefine what beautiful was for me.
So many of
And
us
what
do.
I realized and what my sister realized is that there is beauty in action. Beauty is more than what you see in the physical on the outside.
Mhm.
It's what's happening on the inside. It's the action that you take. And what we decided to do was that our line was going to be inspired by stories of women whom we considered to be sheroes of the world who took action.
Sheroes of the world. I love that.
Sheroes
Sheroes
of
of the world. I love that.
Heroes of the world
Yeah.
who took action, changed their story to impact the world. And so we launched 6 products, 3 eyeshadow palettes and 3 lip stains. By the way, I don't use anybody else's products except my own. So I'm wearing my products today.
Well, I've ordered my eyeshadow palette today. So I am waiting on that to come in, and I will be using that and wearing that at all of my shows at work and right here in the station. So as soon as it comes in, I'm going to bring it and I'll hold it up and I'll let everybody know. But yes, I have definitely already ordered my palette.
Thank you so much for your support.
Of course.
Please, everybody, support a small business. We are out there. I'll give you the information in a few of how you can find us. So the 3 eyeshadow palettes were inspired by 3 groups of women who we wanted to honor first. So the palettes themselves and the colors, they are inspired by a group of women. The colors were named after the attribute we felt these women represented. So you have to go on our website to read a snippet of the story of each of the women and the color that pertains to them. Just so you know, we're the Beautypedia of the beauty industry, right? And the
Right.
hero stories.
Right.
So you just read a tiny little snippet of the story. Now, my sister, her background is in psychology. There was something that we did when it came to the colors. We made sure that the colors that were dark were given the most powerful name. So for example, the black color that is in the beginning palette, just so you know, the in the beginning palette honors women from the Bible. We're women of faith, and we wanted to share a snippet of the story of the women of the Bible. So black represents leader. We wanted to change. We wanted to reprogram.
Change the narrative.
Even the color, yes, the narrative of what we see, because when you think about the color black, there is so much negative connotation attached to it. And we said, no, black is beautiful. You're a leader.
Yeah.
And so the second palette that we have, it's called Guerreras Dominicanas, because we're Dominican, and we wanted to honor the stories of the women that made an impact in our country. And then the last palette is called the Trailblazer palette, and we wanted to honor those powerful and amazing, beautiful Black sheroes whose stories you may not necessarily know.
I ordered the Trailblazer palette. Yeah, that's the one I have. That's the orange one, right? With the
orange one,
the warmer colors are in that one. Yeah.
Yep.
I have.
And
yeah, that's the one I ordered.
It has my face on it. So all of you know,
yes.
everybody who has helped with our line have been women from women-owned businesses.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, tell everybody how they can get it. Just tell them, because I'm sure somebody's going to be watching and saying, well, I need to order mine right now. Please
So
tell
you
everybody where they can go.
So you can find us on Amazon, and you can go directly to our website as well. You can go to www.warriorqueencosmetics.com. Follow us on social media, interact with us, engage with us. We love to hear from you. We're working on our next set of products. If you have some ideas, something that you would love to see, some colors maybe, reach out to us. If there's somebody you would love to honor, for their story to appear in our website or even in social media, we're always looking for warrior queens to highlight. Share their stories with us. We would love to connect with them.
Oh, I'm going to call and share my story. I'm just going to send it in. I'll just send it a full book of my story in, because I absolutely love this idea, and I think this is just everything. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our interview right now, and I am definitely going to have you back on the show, because honestly, you and I could probably just talk for hours about life experience or business ideas or what we've learned or where we've come from. There's so many similarities, and we could really just talk all day long. Unfortunately, at the station, there are other shows here. I don't know why, when I could just talk for 3 or 4 hours, but the whole point is that we are coming to the end of this particular show. And so I want to thank you for being transparent. I want to thank you for sharing the highs and the lows of your story. And I want to thank you for sharing your triumph and where you are now and how you got there. And what we've been talking about over the last few weeks has been the healing journey and where we are on that journey and how to begin the journey and how to get from one step to the next step in the journey. And I know you were saying the Yoshida Academy was geared towards women in transition. So I want to know today, one of the last questions I'm going to ask you is, what do you want women who are on the journey of healing to know from you?
What a great question. So what I want women to know is that you are not alone on this journey. Please don't ever feel like you are the only one, and that you don't have a tribe that you can count on. You do. And if you really feel like you don't have someone around you, you can call me. Feel free to reach out, because I am willing to be part of your team.
Yeah.
We are here to help.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. From beginning to end, amazing. And please, I have to have you back. So we're going to have to get our schedules together. I absolutely have to have you back. If anything, and I know we're going to talk behind the scenes, I would love to have you back quarterly, just as a check-in. You know, again, because like I said, we're all on this healing journey professionally, personally. I'm doing it here in front of everyone on this platform, and I have, you know, a group of people who are doing it with me. So I would love to continue this on with you. But in the meantime, for tonight, I thank you so much for your virtual presence and for sharing your story. This has been amazing, and I know this has been an inspiration to me, and I know it will be an inspiration to others. And thank you again for doing this.
Thank you. And I would love to come back.
Awesome. 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 Well, one more time, tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me at www.yoshidaacademy.com. Send us whatever questions you have to info@yoshidaacademy.com. That's for Yoshida Academy. And Warrior Queen Cosmetics, www.warriorqueencosmetics.com. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, go on and order today, and make sure you go and check out the Yoshida Academy website. Thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone who watched, for everyone who listened, please make sure you check out those websites, because we all need some assistance. We all need some help, and it is out there for us. And just make sure you do it. I love you guys for watching. I love you guys for listening. God willing, I will be back here next week, same time, same place. new part of my healing journey, and I will be talking to you all very soon. See you all later.